Should we wait a couple more minutes or just get started?
Alrighty, welcome to today's workshop on creating a high converting homepage with Aileen Harrison. We have here today. You may be watching this from the YouTube stream, or you may be on here with us on Zoom. If you want to get on here on Zoom next time and be in the room, get answers, mentorship, advice from Aileen live on a workshop. Make sure you join the Society Gal Academy. That is in all the emails, in all the descriptions of these workshops. You'll see access to the Academy there, and you get access to these rooms. So we're so excited to have you here, Aileen, with us to go over how to create a high converting homepage. She's an amazing expert with copywriting, and she's going to go ahead and get started. Go ahead, Aileen.
Hi, everybody. I'm Eileen. I'm a professional website copywriter, website and launch copywriter. So I do all things in the vein of helping small business owners and entrepreneurs launch new products and services on their website. And then we will also do everything that goes into a launch. So like blogs and email campaigns, social media campaigns, and then of course, writing the new website or updating a website as well. So that's me. So today we're going to do how to write a homepage and why you need one because they're super important. There's so much that goes into copywriting for a business, and so much that goes into the website. So I wanted to just really dive in deep onto just one part of the website because it's kind of the most important part. It's where people land when they're first coming to visit you. And so I think if you nail your homepage, then you can slowly build out the rest of your website over time. But the homepage is really the place you need to like get it locked in first. So that's what we're going to do. We'll also talk about, some SEO and other things and give examples as well. So, so yes, hello, I'm Eileen. I'm a storyteller. I love telling the stories of brands. I really love working with like small business owners and entrepreneurs and helping them reach their ideal audience with creating incredible brand voices so that we can really help showcase their brand's personality, which helps build, customer trust. We'll talk about that in a sec. But I use, copy strategies and SEO to help them get out there and reach their ideal audience on Google. I started my company a few years ago and I love to work with entrepreneurs, but I especially love to work with female entrepreneurs. That's just like my bread and butter. And it's so rewarding. So great to meet you. And cheers to the storytelling of these brands and our businesses. So we'll just do a little backstory first, like why a homepage is important and why you need a homepage. So just a little couple statistics for you. 46% of users, when they come to a website, reported lack of messaging as the main reason they leave a website. So you really want to have a clear message right from the get-go. Then 86% of people want to see products and service information on a website homepage. So again, homepages are really important and you want to have a lot of clarity on them. 83% of people go to a website wanting specific answers, and 70% of small business websites lack a call to action on their homepage. So if you're lacking clarity, conciseness, call to action, you're not going to get what you want of a homepage. And that's kind of everything that we're going to cover. So why do you need a homepage? Well, it's to engage your ideal customer, to build trust, and to get them on a funnel towards purchasing. And that's why I strategically structure my homepages to do that. Because what's the point of your homepage if it's not kind of like welcoming your customer in and putting them on a funnel direction towards action. So that action could be booking, a call with you, booking a service, buying a product. But when you have your homepage, you want to have a very clear who you are, what you do, and why they're here, and what their next steps are. So we're going to kind of walk through how to best structure that. So a little bit more backstory. When you're thinking about doing a homepage or rewriting a website, the first thing you really need to do is think about your brand voice because that's going to be implemented everywhere else. And when you have a clear understanding of your brand voice, everything else is easier. So a brand voice is your brand, but it's the voice of your brand. So it's giving personality to your brand. It's how your brand speaks and talks and represents itself in the world. So it's actually a combination of, especially for small business owners, you, the creator, plus your audience, plus your deliverable. So your brand voice kind of encompasses all of that. It's not just like, well, here are my mission and values, and this is why we do what we do. It also needs to be reflective of who's your audience, what are their dreams and desires, so that you can connect with that audience. So a brand, it is its own entity, like a character, and it should have likes, dislikes, needs, desires, wants that align with your ideal customers so that you can best connect with them and build trust with them. The brand voice makes up the personality of the brand, like I was saying. It gives a voice to the brand so that customers get to know and trust that brand and really come to love that brand. Your brand voice should be the answer to your customers' prayers. So your brand voice has to appeal to those customers tonally. So that's kind of like the beginning of everything, is making sure you have a clear brand voice so that you're really telling your customers who your brand is and why they need you and why you're the person to go to or you're the business to go to. Now, a little bit of background on SEO. If you're going to do a homepage or any sort of website copy, you need to understand SEO at least a little bit. So SEO is Google wants to provide the best resources to its users. So you need to prove to Google that you provide the best resources to your ideal audience. And then Google will connect you with that audience. So Google wants to provide a good customer experience for everybody that uses Google. You need to prove to Google that you are the right person or business for those people doing those searches, and then Google will connect you to those people. So how do you do that? You got to provide valuable and reliable information on your website that your ideal customer needs, or what they're likely Googling. That gets into keywords. But with valuable and reliable information, you're looking at 1,000+ words on pages, clear meta descriptions, keywords, like I said, that match up with your ideal audience in headings, H1s, H2s, body text, and also compelling copy so that your audience stays on your page because they want to read it, like they're still taking time to read it, and also backlinks to other sites. So great places to start with SEO, because we can do a whole nother workshop on that. We're just doing a little brief SEO look for the homepage. So great places to start on your own. I would suggest Ubersuggest. You can get a free account and use their SEO keyword tool. Also Google Keyword Planner. That's great. Yoast SEO. And then SEMrush is also great. I don't know if they have a free, but you can pay, and they have a really great SEO keyword planning tool. So those are places to start with your SEO journey. And I always like to preface, whenever you're going to write a website, you got to first do like brand voice understanding, audience understanding, so then you really know who you're looking for to come to your website. And then you can dive into some SEO so that you know like what those, now you know your audience, you can look into what those people are Googling and what their keywords might be. And then you take all of that and you're ready to start writing your website, and specifically your homepage, because that's the biggie. So how do you write a homepage? I like to break it into, like I said, 10 important steps or 10 important things you need to include. First, you need a welcome section on your homepage. So this is the first part of your homepage, the first thing that people are seeing. It's right at the top. You're talking directly to your ideal customers. You're addressing pain points, you're quelling fears, you're empathizing, you're building a relationship. And it's great for customer engagement and also great for SEO. The key to your welcome section is to clearly state who you are or what your business is, what your business does, why you are or your business is the perfect place for that ideal customer, like why they're there and they're meant to be there, and what their next step is. So you kind of want to move them quickly along that funnel because you don't want any lack of clarity in your messaging. Like we saw with the statistics, people will leave. You really need to get clear on like who you are, what you provide, what's going on right at the beginning of your homepage. So I have some examples over here, and we're going to look at some more examples in a little bit, but for example, I have one, she was a marketing consultant, and she talks about like her struggles in B2B marketing because that's her ideal audience is B2B marketers, and how she's learned from that and she wants to share that knowledge with you. So you can even get personal. Like if you're a business coach, you can kind of share your story and why you're the person for those people. She's empathizing, she's saying like she's learned so much through everything she's been through, and now she's an authority figure and she wants to share her knowledge as a marketing consultant for other B2B marketers. So it's really clear right off the bat, what I'm here for and why it's the right place for me if I'm a B2B marketer coming to her website. Me, I have a simpler one, but I quickly go into, if you want these things, I'm a copywriter and that's what I do, and let's do it together. So you can keep it, you can do emotional, empathize. You can keep it kind of like boom, boom, boom. This is what you're here for. I'm the person for it. It's up to you how you want to do it, but you need to get really clear on, who you are, what your business is, what you're providing, why they're in the right place, and where they need to go next. So that's your welcome section on your homepage. Yes, welcome section continued. So it's a really good welcome section, empathizes with your ideal customer, draws them in, engages them, builds trust, makes them feel like they're reading their diary on your homepage. Like, oh my gosh, this person is answering all my like secret deep dark questions immediately. She knows what I'm worried about, You want to feel like the answer to their prayers. Like your brand, your business is what they've been looking for. And also you need to, like I said, have clarity on who the business is, what it is, and what you offer, and to who you're talking to. And then a clear call to action as well, so you can quickly move them along your funnel to purchase, to buy, to book a meeting, etc. A poor welcome section lacks clarity on what the business does. If it's too vague, like if they don't understand after reading the beginning of your homepage, your welcome section, exactly who you are, what you do, and why they're here, it's not a good welcome section. You need to get clear on that immediately. Also, if you're not totally utilizing like empathizing and like some pain points, that could also lack a little bit of connection with your audience if you're not utilizing some pain points in empathizing or some empowering words. You want to really connect with them and make them feel like they're in the right place. And also, if you don't have a clear call to action, that's a bummer. That's not good. You want to like clearly move them on their next path on their journey to buying from you or purchasing from you. So, two. Okay, so the next part of the homepage I think is really important, and I am going in order. So at the top, you have the welcome section. Right below, I do the credentials plug. So number two. This is a pretty simple part of the homepage, but it's really, really great to add in authority right off the bat. So these credentials kind of help prove your brand's authority and that you're an authority figure in the space of whatever industry you're in. And these credentials can be anything, like how long you've been in said business, if you've been featured in any magazines or any articles, anything that proves you're an authority figure in your industry and in the space that you're in, that's what needs to be in your credentials section. Even some like exciting statistics on what your business has done, like 23% of all businesses that we help see an increase in whatever, like you just want some sort of stats or features, like factual evidence that you are an authority figure. So I'm going to show some examples after. But the third portion, third part of your homepage, we got welcome, we got credentials, and then right under that, I do testimonials. I think they're great to do right off the bat because they help prove, again, authority, but also now you're building trust. People love reading Yelp reviews, and a lot of people will base if they're going to buy or purchase something from someone off of other people's recommendations and how other people felt after working with you or buying from your business. And so I think testimonials are really good to have kind of, well, third, but at the higher part of the homepage because they really help build trust right off the bat. And that's super important, especially if people are new to your website or new to your brand. So, like I said, I have these after welcome, credentials, testimonials right away because they help prove that you're the solution for your audience. After all, you've successfully helped so many others like them. So why wouldn't you help them as well? But again, you're just building trust right off the bat, which is really, really important. Okay, so let's do a couple examples. So like I said, I have B2B. These are all websites I've written, actually. So I have B2B Jade. She's a marketing consultant. And she goes right off the bat, she talks about like we said, like her struggles and how she almost left marketing because she was really trying to appeal to she's a B2B marketing consultant, very specific. So she's trying to appeal to other B2B marketers who work in businesses as B2B marketers. And a lot of the time they're really bogged down. And so she was trying to appeal to that and empathize with them. Like, I almost left marketing because of it. I know how you're feeling, but I've learned from my experiences and now I want to share my knowledge with you. So it's kind of taking that on them journey, taking those people on that journey immediately. Like, this is what I'm here for. This is what I do. I know what you're going through, but I have knowledge to share with you, and I'm going to make your life better because obviously I didn't leave marketing, so I know what I'm talking about. Then she has, I like to continue the welcome, like this is kind of the beginning of the welcome section, and then it's kind of continued with something funny, but that's why I have, again, my B2B marketing strategy course, B2B Breakthrough Academy. So pretty quickly you have that call to action, like welcoming in, this is what you're here for. This is why you need it. You know what I mean? Learn my secrets to finally gaining respect as a B2B marketer without the burnout. Again, really, really clear call to action, right? Learn the secrets of how to be a good B2B marketer without absolutely burning out because you're not alone. Like, I've been there. So she's empathizing. She has a clear call to action. Like, it's very, very clear. And then she's got her credentials. So we did that right away, right down there. And then we did a little more. I have to find her testimonials, but see, we got a pop-up as well. I'll talk about those later. But let's do another example. So we have Jamie at the Rising Wolf. You open your business for, and we have a bunch of, but let's get you there. And then she continues like her welcome section with, you know, you're so ready to change. You know these things. You're not alone. I did all of this. Like, let me help you do it. It's very clear, like, she's talking to business owners, right? Who are tired, who are stressed, who aren't happy with their business. They wanted it like this. It's not like that. She's been through that similarly, and now she can help. And that's what I learned. You're done, but let's do it a different way, you know? And then she has her credentials, and then she has her testimonials. So very clearly, very quickly, you're moving through a clear path, a clear journey of empathizing, understanding, welcoming them in, building trust, talking about who she is, what she does, what she offers really clearly. Now my students get the same results, and now it's your turn, and you need to do this, you know? So it's very like, it hits you. It's a good welcome section for understanding very clearly what she offers and why you need to buy it. And then she has her credentials featured in all of these places, and then she has her testimonials. And you can play around with the testimonials, like you can make them more official. She wanted to do screenshots because she just had so many people sending her DMs about her courses. And she kind of played around with how to showcase them because she has different courses. So she wanted to show the different testimonials from different courses. So that's another example. Here's a third one. So she is a she is a newborn consultant, a newborn baby consultant. So she helps helps parents with their newborns and helps them get their sleep back and help the newborn sleep through the night. So right away, she's like, the knowledge and support, you need to go from thrive to you need to thrive during the newborn months. So you're like, oh, okay. So she's gonna provide knowledge and support with my newborn because we're struggling, you know, so that's pretty clear. There's a lot of conflicting info out there and regarding newborn care. You have to navigate like all this stuff, right? And then she pretty quickly says like, but that's what Snooze Clues is for, right? So we have that like clear welcome section. This is what's happening. This is what I do. I'm empathizing with you. Plus, I'm also showcasing my authority again because there's a lot of misinformation, but I have the right information because I'm like certified. And that's why I started this business, and that's why you need to book this business, right? So right away. Yeah. And then she has her services. So that's kind of like you have another really good welcome section right there. So let's go back. So I just wanted to have it make it really clear kind of how to do each of these sections. So you have your welcome section, you got your like pain points, empathize, your solutions, like why your business is the place to be, and then your call to action. So if you had to break it down and you're like, I don't know how to do my welcome section, you got to know your audience, right? So what's your audience pain points? Empathize with your audience, provide your business as the solution to that pain, to those problems, and then make a clear call to action, like next steps. Like that's what you're here for. That's why this business is for you. Let's get you there, you know? Next, credentials. That one's pretty easy. Action steps, gather 3 to 5 credentials you can add right under your welcome section that just prove your authority in the space. And then right after that, testimonials. Just gather testimonials that you can add under your credentials that showcase, why you're a great business to work with or to buy from, etc. So, okay, how can you where to get started other than gathering this information? Here's some good questions to ask yourself that I like to ask myself when I'm trying to write these pieces. What pain points is my ideal customer struggling with? And I like to include that in the welcome section because it really helps with empathy and empathizing with those with that audience. How can I address those pain points and tell them that my business solves those issues, right? So again, we're moving from pain points, empathize, solution. Do I have a very clear call to action for my ideal customer? If your call to action doesn't clearly tell them where to go, next steps, what they should do, it's not clear and you don't have a call to action. So you need to kind of restructure that and work on that so it gives them the clear next points of why they're here and what they should do next, how to work with you so that you can help solve whatever they're going through. And then what credentials would help build the most trust with my ideal customer? If you're featured in magazines, if you have statistics to back you up, those are great credentials. Whatever builds trust with your customer. If you wrote a blog that got featured in something 3 years ago about a completely different topic that's not related to your business, that's not a great credential to include. You need it to be specific to your business that helps you build trust with your ideal customer. If it's not specific to your business, and if it doesn't build trust with your ideal customer, don't include it. Okay, so number 4. So we're getting closer to the halfway point. So right under testimonials, I like to do process breakdown. It's important to break down what you offer clearly so your ideal customer has a good idea of what it looks like to work with you or buy from you or hire from you. Your process breakdown could be anything. It just needs to provide clarity on some of the next steps on your customer journey when they work with you and why they should. So for people who have a specific kind of journey or steps for their audience or purchaser to go through, like if you are a coach, but you don't like providing your services until they book an initial call, that's a great thing to include in your process breakdown. Like, what does it look like to work with me? Number 1, book a consult call. Number 2, we'll send a strategy email your way so that you know what's the best strategy for you with our business. Number 3, then you'll book one of these packages. Number 4, will get you on the right way to success. So that's kind of what I like to do with process breakdowns. If you don't have a really clear process breakdown, maybe you just want people to book one of your services, but there aren't necessarily numbered steps. And this is also a great section where you can just include another content pillar of yours. So if you have a really clear process breakdown, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps, include that. That's great. That really helps people envision the customer journey that they would be on. But if you don't have a clear process breakdown and you just have services to offer, we'll include those in your services. That's fine. In that case, this is also a great section to include another important piece of what you're selling. So I like to call content pillars what you focus on in your business when you're advertising to your audience. Like in the B2B consulting world with Jade, she likes to talk about the B2B marketing gap, which is apparently a thing in the B2B world for marketers, because there's a huge gap between higher management and then B2B marketers. And it's a tricky space for them to navigate where info gets lost or something. So because she didn't have a clear process breakdown, we decided, because you don't want your homepage to be too long, we decided that instead this would be a great space for her to include another of her content pillars to help establish more trust with her audience. So she decided to do a cool diagram of the B2B marketing gap. And that was like a really fun thing for her to include because she felt like it helped her showcase again her knowledge in the space. And then underneath that, it was like, does this resonate with you? Like, click here, you know? So you can either include your process, or this is another place for you to include kind of a content pillar of yours that you know your audience resonates with. So next, 5. Underneath that, I like to do your about blurb, finally, So this will be your picture, or if you're like a bit removed from your company, whatever your company's picture is, and then a short blurb. I call it the short blurb because it should just be a bio, a picture, and a quote, potentially, if you want to include that. Sometimes trust building quotes are really important if you're a coach, and it's a bit more personal. But if you're kind of more of a standalone, like business brand, it's not as necessarily as you focused, then you don't really need a quote. But most companies also have a separate and more expansive about website page, which I do recommend. So you don't need too much about me information on your homepage. Just a short blurb will do, and a picture. It's also beneath like this little short about area. It's also a great place to plug a more personal product. Like if you are, I work with a lot of coaches, so those are my main examples. But if you are like a business coach, but you have an ebook or a memoir, and people really love that because it helps build trust, or you have like a freebie of that sort, that's a great place to plug that. Want to learn more about me? Like get my free memoir, get my free ebook. And that's a great place to build more trust and help people come back to you like later on after knowing you better. So that's another great offer you can do kind of in this area of the homepage. Okay. Services overview. So the good stuff, right? On your homepage, you should have a services overview. You don't have to include prices if you don't want to. Usually people will have a separate like services page, or they will have a sales page for each service that then includes the price at the end of the sales page. I usually just do like a quick services overview where you have the title of each service very clearly labeled, and a quick like 1 to 3 sentence description of each service, and make sure it's very clear if you have multiple services who each service is for, so that people can kind of self-select and go to the place that's right for them if you have multiple services or multiple products. So it should get really clear on, what packages you offer, what these services are, if they're courses, who they're for. But you definitely need, title of each, quick description, who it's for, and then also a call to action at the end, like book now. You can also link each of these services within the page to their own sales pages. So if you're like a coach and you have 3 coaching courses, but they're kind of structured like beginning, middle tier, big ticket one that's like for more advanced people in the business space. You want to make sure that's very clear. Like, here's my beginner course. It's for like beginners in the marketing space. Here's my middle tier course. Here's my like bigger ticket course to really take your business to the next level on like a CEO step. And then each of those little descriptions can link to the separate sales pages for those. So they're like, oh, the middle one sounds good to me. And they click it, and then it goes to the sales page for that. And then they're in the perfect funnel where they can read through the sales page, really get to know the info on the course, decide if that's the right place for them. If they linger on the sales page too long, they get a pop-up, that sort of thing. So I don't think you need like all the info about your services on your homepage, but you need a quick services overview with title and brief explanation. Okay, let's do some examples. Here we go. So we're back to B2B Jade. Okay. Okay, so like I said, she didn't have like a clear like process breakdown next step situation. So she wanted to talk about the marketing gap, which was really fun, and she thought that would be engaging for her audience. So you can do process breakdown or content pillar, but you want to make the most use of your homepage space and make sure it's all very meaningful. So she did a huge content pillar for her audience, and they can kind of click through it and they can interact with it, and that's fun. And she's like, yeah, I know. I've been there. So here's her little about blurb, right? I said short and sweet to the point. I'm Jade. A little bit more about me. I'm truly passionate about this. Here are my pictures, And what I forgot to say, but what you can also do is if you have a longer about page, you can link to that in your short about blurb. So if they want to know more about you, then they can click that and go to your separate about website page, which is great. So here's her academy, right? So this is her services overview. I think she only has one I think she just has one like big academy. So she has like the title very clearly, like the subtitle of what it is, and then exactly like what this is for, and exactly who this is for. We'll teach you this, how to use the specific templates and models for B2B marketing success. So it's a very clear description. And since she doesn't have multiple services, she did kind of a longer explanation, which makes sense because the academy is kind of big. Um, but if you have multiple services, I would just kind of separate those out. So let's look at another one. So we're back to Jamie. She's got her testimonials. Actually, she also did I did this, I don't know why I forget. We also did a content pillar because she has so many courses. It wasn't like doing a process breakdown of like next steps didn't make a lot of sense, but she loved talking about her like proven methodology of the combination of mindset and strategy. So we did this like fun little graph, and then we talked about like my goal to allow you a system that helps you and whatnot. So here's her short blurb. Again, it's like short and sweet, you guys. So she's got me, Jamie, her little quick blurb, and then a little bit of like a quote up here, and then her cute pictures, right? So keep it short and sweet. And then again, meet the rest of the team, and you can click and you can go to their longer about page. This is great also if you have a team and you like just want to feature the CEO on the website, but then you can have the rest of the about page feature everybody else. So, and then like I said, she has a memoir. And so under her about area, she featured her memoir. Um, yeah, because it's like kind of a more personal area that you can do that. So where should I get started? So this is her quick services overview. So she's got the one course, the other course, and the big course, right? And it's very clear, like the title, the quick description, what's included. There you go for each of them. So you can kind of like your audience can decide where they need to go and what they want to do. But she said she kind of gave clarity as well wherever you are in your journey. They're a journey from start to finish, beginning with cash flow confidential. So she's kind of telling you from the beginning the clarity of her courses and how they work. So you can kind of like start here and move around. There we go. Okay. Let's see. Let's do another one. Oh, here are her credentials. So like I said earlier, credentials can be kind of whatever gives you the authority in the space. She didn't necessarily have like statistics. She wasn't featured in magazines, but she is a certified pediatric sleep consultant. She's a certified lactation consultant. She has all these certifications. So that was what we included. We also did some other statistics of like helped 500 plus families already. Like that's huge. So it's whatever gives you authority in the space that's best for your ideal audience. So she had her services breakdown, and it was very clear. Again, she's got the title, quick description, title, quick description, title, quick description. And each of them has like a little bit of a different subsection. Like I need this, book my bundle, or apply here. So this one's more elite, you have to apply. Okay, so let's go back. Oh, here we go. Okay. So how can you get started on this section of the homepage? We're kind of in like the middle section, right? So for the process breakdown, rate 3 to 5 steps of what it looks like to work with your business. What are the next steps in this process? Alternatively, if you don't have clear next steps, or if you just have a lot of offerings, then maybe you should use this to showcase another content pillar of yours that your audience would really resonate with. You could also do both. I just wouldn't make it too long. You don't want to lose people on the homepage. You want it to have a very clear flow from like one step to the next. And then the about blurb. Just craft a catchy blurb. A short blurb and a quote and a good picture is all you really need. And then your services section, again, list your services out. and have a clear description for each of them that tells them, who this is for and what's included in the service, and then link each of those services to its subsequent sales page if you have them. You could always build that out later as well, but you need to have very clear description on what the service is, what's included, and who it's for. And that'll really help your audience. So, some questions to ask yourself. What can I include in my process breakdown that relieves buyer anxiety? So if you do have clear next steps to booking with you, and you can kind of list those steps out 1 through 5, what can you include in those little descriptions that like calms people's fears? We'll jump on a really quick call. I'll answer all your questions. You want to like relieve some of that anxiety or some of that like anticipation or fear to book. Right. Similarly, if you want to do a content pillar, what content that I create or put out into the world does my audience most resonate with? Or what is my audience thinking about that I didn't get to include in the welcome section that I could include here? That's another great thing that you can think about. What part of my blurb is most pertinent for my ideal customer to know? Again, when you're writing your homepage, you want it to be very geared towards your ideal customer and what they would most resonate with. So if your business is in like, let's give a good example. If you're a photographer, you want to make sure your bio is more geared towards that, your short bio on your homepage specifically. You can do a lot more personal stuff on the about page of your website, and you can do like fun facts and all those things. But on your homepage, you want to make sure your quick blurb, because that's kind of the first thing they're seeing of you, is really geared towards photography, like how long you've been doing this, why you love it, all that kind of stuff. You don't want to include that you were like softball captain 3 years ago. That's like not pertinent information, So you want to make sure your short blurb is really geared towards your ideal audience and building trust with them. And then are my different services understandable? If I just gave these services to them, then the descriptions I've written out, could they clearly identify which one is best for them and what's the difference between all of them? And if your answer is no, then you need to rewrite your services. Does my audience have buyer fatigue? If you have a lot of offerings, you want to make it clear what's the difference between those offerings really fast, really quickly off the bat. You could even do a title and a subtitle of like who this is for, and then a longer description, because buyer fatigue happens really easily if you have a lot of services and it's not clear the difference between them, and then they're just not going to book. It's too much information. So how can I make my services more clear? Would be a really good question to ask yourself when doing your services overview on your homepage. So we're going to do a lot of questions at the end, like on each section. But the 7th section is to plug your freebies. I will usually do this. Let me go back. Yes, services. Okay, so I will usually do this after the about blurb or after the services. Under the about blurb, like I said, you could plug maybe a freebie that's more personal if you want to, or if you're like a coach, like I said, and they get a lot more personal, they'll do a lot of those like personal freebies. But after the services section, it's kind of like one of those like last grab, last ditch efforts before people leave your website, your homepage, because they've already seen the services, they've seen all the important information, you don't really want them to leave yet. This is where you could plug some free offers that you have. So if you're like a marketing consultant, you have a marketing template for them to use. If you're a photographer, you have like a photography checklist or like a photo shoot checklist for them, So it's a great place to plug your free offers right towards the bottom of your homepage so that it's a last minute engagement grab. So you can get their email and you can get them on an email list and build trust with them and get them to come back. So you can say things like, don't miss out on these freebies, don't leave without your free offers, don't like jump the page without getting some of my freebies, So it's a great place to kind of, again, last ditch grab for engagement. So what I also like to include is have an opt-in button on your homepage. I will usually design this towards the end after I have a lot of clarity on like what I'm saying on my homepage and what I have offered on my homepage once I know my freebies for sure. So you can offer again, like a free ebook or some sort of freebie, like a free template, or like a masterclass lesson for free. You could also offer discounts. But what you're really looking for is engaging with your customers and getting their emails so that you can get them on a trust building funnel in your email list. That's huge. That's big, especially if they need more time to warm up to buying your services or products. You want to get them on that email list so that you engage with them and build trust and they come back to buy later. That's really big. You can also even just include like a pop-up at the bottom that's like a keep in touch if you have a newsletter. But I would suggest at least one pop-up with a freebie and then also like some sort of keep in touch. But you could do two pop-ups. I wouldn't suggest more than two. If you have multiple freebie offers, two is probably good. So that is the opt-in button. Like I said here, I have these examples. These are both from my website. So I have a pop-up for like free homepage copy template, which is really fun. And then I just have like a keep in touch as well for my newsletter, where they can also like self-select what they're interested in, which is really cool. That like puts them into funnels on my email list so that I can continue to email people, which is great. So, oh, sorry, this is an opt-in button. Yeah, so this is opting into my bad. I kind of put them all together, but you can have an opt-in button on your website where they opt in to hear from you. And then also, like I was saying, you can have the pop-ups with the call to action. It's a great way to get customer emails and start them on your trust funnel. And it usually pop-ups, like they said, they pop up. So usually after they've been on the website for a certain amount of time, they will pop up kind of on top. As you saw, like I think B2B Jade's popped up while we were on her website. But you can also structure them to be specific to the page that they're on. So if they're on the sales page, for example, you could do a freebie that's specific to that sales page or to that product you're selling, so that if they don't purchase what's on the sales page, they still get on your email list. So I think pop-ups, especially for the homepage, to get email lists, to get people on your email list for free offers are really important. Okay, 10. So FAQs. You got to have FAQs on your homepage. You want to have an answer all frequently asked questions on your homepage. These can be great for building customer trust, but they're also great for SEO because it's another place where you can have a couple like heading 1, heading 2 with some keywords and long tail keywords that your audience is likely Googling, and then they will show up in your FAQs. So it's another place that you can utilize SEO while also like calming customer fears and addressing customer concerns. Like, oh, why should I book with you? How do I know this is the right place? How do I know this is the right product? You can continue to like engage with them in that way and calm their fears and get them more ready to buy, more likely to buy. I think you should definitely have FAQs on your homepage. And then I think if you have sales pages, you should have FAQs on your sales pages as well. But you don't need FAQs on every page of your website. Example. Let's do an example. All right. So we're going to do, yeah, freebies, pop-ups, and FAQs. Let's go find some. So we did see the pop-up on Jade's website, which I think offered a freebie. And then again, so like I said, when you are kind of showcasing your freebies, it can be anything free. So any sort of free offering that you have, which does include like social media, podcasts, or YouTube. So she decided as her freebie section, she wanted to advertise her podcast because she's gotten a lot of great engagement on there. So that's what we did. We linked her podcast in, and then she had her FAQs underneath that. And then actually she did another freebie at the bottom too with her other marketing tools, which is great. Let's look at another one. Okay, don't leave without your free baby essentials. That's so cute. So she advertised her freebies as like your free baby essentials. You got to have them. So she has all her free offers here. They're like kind of like templates to read through for setting up your nursery, all those things. So that's great. And that gives her huge customer engagement and like gets them on her email list. Let's see, Jamie's. For Jamie, I think she also decided to advertise her podcast as her free offer. And then she also did her FAQs at the bottom. I've got answers. You got questions? I've got answers. So you can make your FAQs kind of fun, you know? And then she also did more freebies at the bottom. So you have kind of a chance to do freebies and FAQs intermittently, however you want to organize them, but they should be at the bottom of your homepage. So just got freebie 1, freebie 2, freebie 3. There we go. Okay. So action steps. When you're trying to put together this portion of your homepage, what should you be thinking about? What should you be doing? Well, plug your freebies. Decide what free offers you want to highlight on your homepage and write descriptions for them with links. So you got to organize, how's that going to work with your funnel? Do you have an email list? How are they going to get these free offers? Can you, connect your email list to your website? You got to get that organized. You got to get that figured out. An opt-in button, add this button with a free offer to your site. So that can be more at the bottom, like we said, maybe opt into your newsletter, stuff like that. And then the pop-ups as well, that pop up on your website. It's all kind of your free offers. What do you want to advertise for maximum customer engagement so that they get on your email list? Like I said, decide what you want to advertise with a pop-up. And then FAQs, write down frequently asked questions and answer them yourself and add them to the bottom of your homepage and make sure they're addressing, audience fears and calming them and empathizing with them and helping build more trust. And you can also do some more SEO keyword research here and include those keywords as headings in the FAQs. Okay, so questions to ask yourself. What freebies are most engaging for customers to get them into a nurture funnel? So which ones have the highest customer engagement? What do you think your customers would most want as a freebie from you? What questions are potential new customers considering when hesitating to buy? So if they're kind of on the verge, what do you think is popping up in their head? And how can you answer that in the FAQ section so that they're more likely to take that next step? And then how can I answer those questions in a way that calms fears and reduces buying resistance? So that's a huge one. How can you answer those questions and kind of calm them down and reduce buying resistance and build trust at the same time? It's a lot to think about, but it's very helpful. Okay, so again, why do you need a homepage? Well, there's a lot that goes into a homepage, and a really cleverly crafted homepage engages with your ideal customer, builds trust with them, and gets them on a funnel towards purchasing. So that's the whole point of the homepage, is to engage, build trust, and get them on that funnel towards purchasing so that they're more likely to buy. And there you go. So I have my contact info, and now I will open up any questions and we can go through again kind of the different sections of the homepage and any questions we might have on each section. So we can start at wherever we want. Opening up the floor.
Awesome. So for somebody, let's say for somebody who doesn't have a website yet at all, just starting their business, what are your biggest tips when it comes to like your first website? And what is like where should the focus be, I guess you would say, so someone doesn't spend like the rest of the year on this website, but gets their brand across and gets a foundation up without, again, like spending too much time on it when they don't have an understanding of their brand just yet. So where would you say, where would the focus be?
I think as long as you can get a homepage up, you're looking pretty good. I think you can kind of build out the other pages over time, but if you're it's a newer business and you're just trying to build a website, but it feels overwhelming, at least just do a homepage, because a homepage is like a mini snippet of everything you need. And what I would say is, like ask me for this presentation and copy down all the action steps and just follow them one at a time and walk your way through each section of the homepage and get it done. And then already you have a beautiful representation of your business. That's not going to take as much time or is as overwhelming as building out an entire website with all the different pages. You can always add pages later, but the homepage is kind of the like umbrella. It's like the overarching snapshot of your business. And I think that's the most important page. So if you can focus on getting just that guide done, you don't need to do any other pages yet. Just do that one and kind of build that out and put some thought into that and some thought into, maybe your brand voice and who you want to be and a little bit of SEO research and just get the homepage done. And like, that's a great place to start.
Love it. Yeah, because I mean, Aileen did a really great job at explaining like an in-depth homepage. But if you're
Yeah.
just starting out, these are really good things to keep in mind when you do build a new one or when
Yeah.
you're doing it. And also it's piece by piece, right?
Mhm.
From my experience where I did all different websites until like, 4 or 5 years down the road where I could hire someone to custom do my website for someone to copyright my website. But that took a long time to do that. And Aileen, you and I talked about this, but you know, don't hire someone to copyright and build a website if you don't understand your brand yet.
Yeah,
If you don't understand what you do and who you serve, and you're still in like that first year of business or just launching your business, it's just a waste of time and money to kind of like have that built with not that foundation of knowledge. I felt amazing building my website or getting it custom built when I knew exactly who my client was and exactly what I wanted to say, and then it all flowed beautifully. But there's going to be big resistance if outsource it right away without understanding, right? Do you agree, Aileen?
definitely. That's where that's where I've built out a couple of freebies for people specifically like that because if you're just starting out your business, it's really hard and you're like I want to make it all beautiful and do all the right things, but you're not necessarily clear on like what your offers are, and it's expensive to like hire copywriters and website designers, especially if you don't really know quite yet. So I would, if I were you, I would maybe get one of my free offers because I have a brand voice freebie that helps you kind of like understand your brand voice and go through a checklist of maybe who your audience is. And then I have my homepage freebie, which will help you build it out yourself. So you can kind of experiment with that and see how that feels, find your brand voice, and maybe find who you want to be on your homepage. And it gives you kind of that initial start so that you can kind of build those things out on your own yourself as an entrepreneur, and then you can grow from there. And then you'll have more experience and more knowledge and more understanding of your business as well. It's just kind of like, starting a little scrappy, but doing it on your own,
Yeah,
and
and less is more
figuring it
too.
out.
I mean,
Yeah.
I like how you said just build one page.
Yeah.
There's a one-page website can last you
Oh
years,
yeah.
you know,
Oh yeah.
and it lasts you years if it has all that, like, especially the ones that you explained, all that information. But a one-page website is all you need. Less is more. The websites that Aileen showed are amazing and in depth, but that does not need to be your website, depending on the stage
Yeah.
of your business. But it can get there, but it doesn't need to be initially. And I think that can be sometimes stressful. You're like, I want it to look like that. And it's like, well,
Right.
it's better just wait till you can hire a copywriter and designer to get like the in-depth pages done. But at least, I mean, I love Aileen. You shared so much good, great stuff. Now everyone has a focus of what to focus on and how to focus on those things, so you can build it slowly. Um, yeah, I always like to ask the question because I know I wasted so much time on
Oh
my own
yeah.
site. I think we
Well,
all have.
oh yeah. And it's so hard to know what to put on each page. And so it's so overwhelming. Like I think that's the biggest, like just the overwhelm to start is really hard. And so I think if you just tell yourself, I'm just gonna make one website page, I'll just do a home page and I'll follow Eileen's steps and just checklist each action item. And then you'll just have this beautiful one page that's like I mean, the homepage is everything people really need to know, and they can like book from that page. So you don't need to like add all these pages and get all crazy about it until that's like a later problem, Build that
Mhm.
out into the future, but start with your homepage. And even if you really like if it's really hard, honestly, if you just have a welcome section, your about blurb and your services, that's really good. Like those are like kind of the most important things is like who you are and your call to action, why they're here, your services, and your about. I think those are probably some of the more important pieces of this like 10-step situation. But you can just start with a homepage and it will maybe like help with the overwhelm of like starting your business and building a whole website and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have one more
Really.
question about, Rowan, do you have a question before I go on to another one?
No, no. It's like this is part of the reason why I haven't made a website since I'm just now starting. So like uh, I want to build up like some more testimonials
Mhm.
and things that I can actually put on my site before I make the mistake and and make a site that I will have to end up redoing
Yeah.
and all that hassle. So
Mhm. No, I get you.
Yeah, yeah, I'm starting with what you have, right? You
Yeah.
yeah,
have products, you have prices,
Yeah.
you have a contact form. Like, what do you have? And then adding stuff on later, right? Starting
right.
with
Like
whatever
the
you do
basics.
have, and then build on it from there is great.
Yeah.
Um, Awesome. I think one more question I had was, do you feel, depending on ideal client, right? Because there's a lot of websites out there that are very text heavy. Do you think
Yeah.
that's ideal for every type of client? So I see a lot of text heavy, but I wonder if it's like it's per industry
Mm.
more so, or if that's like a client type thing, or if that's like necessary to have always a text heavy website.
That's a great question. I think from an SEO standpoint, you want like more words on your page, but they don't necessarily have to be text heavy because you can kind of separate it out like I did with these different sections. So you can get the SEO in with the word count by having these different sections and like all these fun like different categories. So you don't necessarily have to have a text heavy like to have SEO, which would be like one argument for a lot of people. I do think it does depend on the industry. And I do think sometimes it just depends on the client. Like I've had some clients who are like, this doesn't sound enough like me because it's too short. And then we had to like put more words in, which is fine, if that's kind of what makes you feel more comfortable as like that's the content that you want. But there is a really big difference between content writing and copywriting. And you do want your website to be a little bit shorter, a little bit quippier to grab that attention because it's just people aren't going to spend as much time reading through all that text, and you want it to be a bit more engaging. And that's copy. It's a bit more like straight to the point, straight to the facts, very clear, concise, and has a clear call to action. And content is, it's like what's on social media. It's like long captions and storytelling and long, but doesn't have a clear call to action. And so sometimes people will get confused between the two. And you don't want to have too much content on your website that doesn't have a clear, like, next step. If it's just like word dumping, it's not great because people aren't going to read it and it's going to reduce engagement. And it'll just be kind of also chunky from a design standpoint because, like, I work with a few website designers and they're always like, Eileen, write less. And I'm like, I'm already not even writing that much, because it's just hard to like design it and put it onto a website in a way that's engaging. So I think it can depend on the industry, and some people want to say a bit more, or even like I think my newborn specialist coach, she just had a lot of certifications and all these things, and those were like wordier things to explain. So I think it can be industry dependent, but I would say try to less is more and try to say what you need to say in a very clear and concise way, and it's gonna boost your engagement because it's just like people don't have the attention span, to read through all of that.
Yeah, it's clear. Yeah, because I think, oh, well, people need more words for SEO. That's what I always think, why people have so many words. But
Yeah.
I like what you said is it's quality over quantity, right? It's more about the quality of your words, and are they the keywords? Are they the SEO words, not necessarily how many words you have. And I feel like I love how you said the difference between content and copywriting, because I think a lot of people just try to put their content on their
Yes,
website
that's
and
not.
do a caption per section. And
Yeah.
then we're over here just explaining so many things, over explaining it.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big, big confusion, especially with social media out now and everything, is putting that on there. And then people lose interest, right? When they get
Yeah.
on the website and they're like, well, I don't want to read through this. How do I even contact you? How do I even book you? How do I get more
Yeah.
information? It
Yeah,
gets confusing.
exactly. Yeah, the website is your website is a very specific medium, and it's for like helping for very quickly explaining who you are, what you do, what you offer, why they're here, and next steps. And if you're getting drudged down with the content and those things aren't clear, it's not a good website. So, like, content is a great place for social media. It's a great place for like your podcast or your YouTube. And that is like the longer form. And that's also why we have these freebies on the website so people can go out to those and like build trust with you, listen to your story, and then come back to the website because the website is a more concise place to like get you to that next step to book. It should be almost like the quick summary of everything. And that's why sometimes websites can be hard to write because they are like the umbrella summary of your whole brand. And so it does take a little bit of time and a little bit of journaling to be like, okay, I gotta really clearly state who I am, what I'm offering, and how they can book me. But yeah, I agree. You don't want a content dump on your website. It doesn't help. And I feel like it's actually bad for SEO because then you're like maybe including things that like aren't necessary, and you're reducing your
The fluff.
engagement time because people don't want to read it, you know, like they're just like they exit your website too fast.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Yeah. And that's why I love your first section of the website, which is like the clear, like who is this
yeah,
for? What do I do? Like all that, like in one little
you're right at
line.
the top.
And we over like looked at and try to write it out into 30 sentences. And I think that's the hard part is putting it in like one sentence.
Gotta be quippy.
Your little one
Yeah.
sentence pitch is like so hard. But once you get it down, man, it just speaks to the right
Yeah.
person. And they're like, that's me,
Oh
right?
yeah. It's so helpful once
So
you get down.
words are so powerful.
Words are so powerful and it's hard to be concise, but once you get it more concise, it is so helpful for your site. And I wanted to go back to SEO for a second too, because I recommend 1,000, at least 1,000 words a page for SEO. That's like a benchmark. But again, like we were saying, you don't necessarily have to just dump words. You can easily get to that with these different sections that are each one's quippy, you know, because you want to kind of move your audience down the page and increase engagement. And you're gonna do that if you have kind of shorter, concise, punchier things like this section, this section, oh, that's a new section. Oh, that has cool graphics. You know, you don't want them to like just be bogged down in words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that. Awesome. A whole science.
Yeah, it's crazy. So much that goes into it. Yeah.
Awesome. I think we're good for today. Anything else you want to end with, Aileen? That was amazing. Thank you so much for sharing all
Oh,
this.
yeah. Nothing crazy. I think if you want like some of my freebies, that will help you kind of like get started maybe on your path to writing your own stuff and putting a website out there, go to my website and sign up for my email list. Or I think there's also a pop-up that'll get you a freebie. So just go to my site. I do have a copy shop launching soon, which I've put a ton of work into and I'm so excited. And it's basically a template shop of a bunch of different products that are like like way more advanced freebie templates where they're like really in depth. And it's basically if you don't have the finances to hire a full copywriter, okay, how can you write this copy yourself as an entrepreneur? And it helps you with like every step of the way and how to journal and how to like figure out your brand voice and all that stuff. So I have a bunch of and how to write each page of your website as well. So you can kind of break it down by piece. So I have a copy shop launching soon. Get on my email list for that. I think that'll be really, really great. And I kind of made it as that like in between offer for entrepreneurs who are still starting out and they want to like write all their stuff really amazing, but they maybe don't have like the finances yet to hire a full marketing team or a copywriter. You can start out on your own with just a couple of these products and write stuff really well and get off to like a good footing and then build your business from there, you know? So,
Awesome. Thank you so much,
yeah.
Aileen. She has
Thank
amazing
you.
resources. I put, you see her website here. I put it in the chat on YouTube as well. So thank you so much for being on here, Aileen. And we'll probably have Aileen come back sometime too. She likes to come
Ooh,
back and do this workshop.
we can do
So
more.
make sure
There's so much.
we have workshops every single week with amazing people just like Aileen. So make sure you check your email, check the website events on Society Gal to attend these events. We love to have experts like you on here. So thank you so much, Aileen.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. It was a great pleasure talking to you today. Okay. Yay.